let's talk about One Piece chapter 1169. Starting with this cover. I know I say it every time, but when Oda does a color spread, he does not miss. I will say though, I did not expect rocks to be blue. But as for the actual chapter, one of my favorite moments is Gabon calling Buggy and Shanks the crew's sons. One, because it's wholesome as hell and I love that, and two, because it comes in direct comparison with Ace, the guy who actually has Roger's blood. Actually, Shanks' whole conversation with Gabon is pretty good, like this part where he shows off his Shallows covenant, which ever so conveniently happens to be placed on the arm that gets chomped off in chapter 1. But we also get shown this moment of Shanks and Harold talking, where it's shown that the red-haired pirates already existed before Shanks went to Marie Joie. Which does make sense, it's just nice to have an explicit confirmation of that. I am also really curious to what extent the deeper covenants alter the Holy Knights, because we see Harold really going through it this chapter. It seems to really be affecting his mind once it breaks through his resistance, or at the very least, trapping his actual conscience in a sub-layer while replacing it with a puppeted one, which is definitely more horrifying now that I say it out loud. And he doesn't have emu eyes, so this isn't just straightforward possession. Which really makes me beg the question, were all the Holy Knights once people with good intentions that got turned into monsters by emu? I also like that we get to see Loki fighting without Ragnir here, which is the weapon that he ends up with in the modern day, especially because here at the end of the chapter we get to see Loki fighting with Ragnir instead of fighting with Ragnir. There are two options to explain this panel. One, Ragnir is alive. Two, there's someone tiny, at least compared to a giant, operating it right now. And considering we see this panel where it starts shuffling, and this distinct laugh, I'm willing to bet that that's a Holy Knight that snuck in. And I think this all plays into my theory that Loki doesn't really have a devil fruit. I'm placing my wager now. A Holy Knight is gonna abscond with that chest with the intent of giving it to Harold, but he's gonna be defeated before he can eat it. But still not wanting that devil fruit to wind up in the hands of their enemies, Emu has that Holy Knight take it off Elbaf. And then at some point it's handed over to Cypherpole, transported through the East Blue, and Shanks steals it, taking it to a little town called Windmill Village. I can see it all so clearly in my mind. The timeline adds up. This is 14 years ago. I can't wait for the next chapter where I'm proven wrong, Loki gobbles it down and turns into a giant snake or something.